Umamusume Pretty Derby is a racing sim where you train a human-looking horse to win horse girl derbies, as the name may or may not suggest. Winning these races involves training 5 different stats: speed, stamina, power, guts, and wit. What if, however, you are only allowed to train 1 stat per horse? Can you win Umamusume Pretty Derby by only training 1 stat per career, but for all 5 stats? Now, obviously the video here is a different title, because what I've just said sounds like complete jargon. Let's be honest. The more detailed plan is to take 5 of the different girls, train only 1 stat type for them, and at minimum, attempt to clear their chosen career path. Sometimes, additional races are required to reach the threshold for the next part of the career race. Therefore, the run conditions are as simple as: I can do anything else in the game, but training can only be done in 1 category. With that established, let's get into it.
Focus. Speed. I am speed. 1 winner. 42 losers. I eat losers for breakfast.
First up, probably the most explanatory stat of them all. You have more speed, you have faster speed. My candidate for this particular one was Haru Urara. While there were a couple other choices for this one, I knew I'd need to complete specifically shorter length races. Anything above the mile category of races wouldn't cut it, as they're races that require more energy. Also, Haru's career path is really simple. Gain fans, run a few sprint and mile races, then witness one of the top 10 anime betrayals of 2025 when she's forced to compete in the Arama Kinen, a race that is everything against what she stands for. What a shit way to end the career, but that's besides the point. Every journey begins with a single step, so starting with the speed training is of course the way to go. The game features 2 types of resources you have to be careful of as you train: your energy and your mood. Every career starts you at a full 100 energy and at normal mood. Your current energy levels dictate your success rate for the training, and the mood works as a modifier for the stats you gain. Mood also gives a handy dandy modifier to all your stats during races, so that's an additional benefit to squeeze out of the system. There are other modifiers in the game too, but I'll go into them if and when the situation comes up. But for now, the quicker our mood improves, the better, as it has knock-on effects, as suggested earlier. Easy clap. Career part 1 done. As you can see here, the next 3 stages of the career are about getting up to 12,000 fans, incrementally of course. One caveat about Haru is that she is dirty, and by that I mean of course that she specialises in dirt track races. This is why she's giving a lot of turns as leeway, because a far smaller portion of the races in the game take place on dirt track. Realistically, placing at least mediocre at best in any that come up gives you the most secured paths to get through the threshold, honestly.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Getting over 20,000 fans from racing has not only been giving me skill points for extra abilities to help with later, harder races, but seeing as I did it before the 5,000 fans goal was due, I had quite a few spare turns to carry on speeding my way through my speed. As such, by the time that the typical episode 6 or so of every Slice of Life series came around, it turned out to be a very useful and productive time at the beach. Not only did I manage to get a lot of training in for my stats, but I also managed to finish the time at the beach with a nice little run. Because everybody else was too busy getting their feet sandy and all the rest of it in the waters, getting second place was nice and easy. Thanks guys. You get the rhythm by now. Race, train, race, to pass the time. So, let's skip ahead a bit to the actual races that matter. Negishi Stakes? February Stakes? Elm Stakes? JBC Sprint? Easy peasy. We don't even need to discuss the Aramakinen at this point because who the fuck. And then we get to the URA series. The qualifier and the semi-final were truly no worries. And although the game gives you opportunities to retry races during each career, we hadn't used any up until this point. Now, on to the finale. That's right, with only training speed, I was able to knock the entire competition completely out of the water, coming first in the URA Grand Finale, and we ended up with a career rank of B+. You know what? That's pretty good for only being able to train one stat. Let's move on.
Nani? Nice, nice! Very nice, Shiza-chan!
For stamina, Metro McQueen was my instant obvious choice. Her preference of pace chasing over longer racing distances might offset the lack of speed I'd be gaining, I thought to myself. Stamina is for setting how much gas is in the tank, if you will. And medium, but especially long races, benefit from having a larger stamina pool. You can also obtain some skills to help restore stamina or reduce fatigue at various points in the race, but meh, this challenge. They do less for me given the circumstances. As before, there's only one thing to kick things off, and that's to get our training on. Personally, if I were a horse girl, stamina would probably be my preferred training, because it's just different swimming techniques at every training level. Then again, if I were a horse girl, I'd also wonder why training breaststroke is pivotal to be able to run at a long distance, I suppose. Anyway, I guess we can just gloss over the junior stakes at this point, because it's quite literally the single most easiest race in the game, and damn it, McQueen, you were meant to be first there, buddy. It's okay, I'll just wait until the next time a medium make debut race comes up. Much like Haru, McQueen's first real career step is gaining fans, so I can continue her transformation from Uma to Sakana at my own pleasures here. I definitely didn't cut the deadline close for this one or anything, so now we can move into the real races. At least with McQueen's career path, entry criteria doesn't really need any additional fans to make it into the other races, so that's one less sense of pressure removed. All we need here is a top 3. Piece of cake. But don't mention cake to McQueen, because she's currently trying to diet. Kikuka Show is next. No problem. Let's just get right into it. Beat the competition and... Oh, that's no good. First alarm clock used for the run, I guess. Yeah, here's where the lack of speed thing starts to rear its ugly head. Even if McQueen could walk 500 miles and then 500 more, she still has to be number 1 here at the end of the career to even get a fighting chance for the URA. Sure, the win con is completing the career, but it's still okay to have loftier goals. That is, to say in short, that currently, this one does not spark joy. Partially because you can't get moody increased sparks from your inspirations. The Spring Tenno Show is next. Time for our triumphant comeback and... Oh no.
One pathetic sob story later.
Oh no. We're all out of carrots. We're all out of sticks. This is it for McQueen. 5 career goals met. C rank obtained. I'll level with you. I took a further 5 or so more career attempts. From Super Creek to Rudolph. I even tried McQueen again. To Matakano Fukutaru. They all kinda just looked like this. I had one more run in me. I decided to give my newly acquired Tokei Teo a go, a result of failing to get Saiyan Sky. As I've already covered everything you'd expect here, let's do something training stamina can't really allow for, and that is to sprint through the career progresses. So there we have it. Unlike McQueen, I did manage to get to maximum stamina with Teo, but only 6 out of 8 goals were completed. Sadly, stamina is the first failed stat for the challenge. Please someone else tell me you also saw the humour and irony in calling this stat power instead of strength? Anyway, power is about how strong your horse is, so by the time we're finished with this run, we'll have more horsepower than probably like 5 Ferraris or something. Vodka makes for not just the #1 potato-based alcohol or whatever, but also a great candidate for this stat. See, it does best in mile races, where the need to overtake others late can play a big part. Once again, I'll have an issue with speed here, as training power increases just stamina and power stats. But Vodka's special ability, plus a whole host of late game velocity and acceleration perks, might be enough to carry me through for this one. Yeah, easy win. Who would lose in the first race of the game after all? Wouldn't be me. Anyway, unlike the previous two trainees, all of Vodka's career progresses are races. One of them is a freebie, Run the Aramakinen, which, to be honest, whenever I see run in the objective without a placement, I translate it to ignore this, because that's the game just about to say, I'm proud of you, you're trying so very hard.
I'm proud of you, you're trying so very hard.
Skip ahead a few goals, and now we're smashing tiles every time we train. Truly, our power is going through the roof. After a solid showing at the Tulip Show, coming in second, I had accrued an extra discount to the skills, our ticket to win, and homestretch haste, courtesy of Inspirations. These are winning tickets special ability and a generic skill for late race. Both work wonderfully in tandem to squish horse girls like they're bug girls. Yes please, I'll be having both of those. Next came more training and more career wins. I'm sure you get the picture by now. Race after race of meeting and beating criteria. One thing I will say about Umamusume Pretty Derby is that time really does fly while playing, both the in-game time and real life time. To the point where, before I knew it, we were at the final career race. In Vodka's career, this is the Autumn Tenno show, and at this point, having a lot more skills and over 1100 power to boot helped secure a comfy victory. This of course means that Career for Power has been completed. This one took a few previous attempts, much like Stamina did, but I didn't want to bore you with the details, and by now I feel like I've already explained the game plan well enough. Although it shows that you've had an inefficient waste of stats, I do like it when the game tells me that a certain stat is in superb form. Qualifier completed, I unfortunately fell at the penultimate hurdle, unable to complete the semi-final race. However, this was still a B+ career, so it wasn't the worst run. I'll take it. The next stat on the list is every player's favourite, guts. This is the inside of your stomach as parts of digestion, which tend to include your intestines and... Nah, we're not here for the biology lesson, Unk. What it actually does from a game point of view is it allows your Musume to burn on fumes, i.e. how effective you can be once your stamina has gone. It's kind of like a sustain feature, and while it doesn't entirely replace stamina, it can work nicely here if I get enough stamina or fatigue based skills. After some trial and error, Silent Suzuka actually turned out to be a great pick here. Her proficiencies in front running in mile and medium races works well with the fact that I can still benefit well from the fact that training only guts does also increase speed and power slightly, which, as discussed during the stamina section of this video, are very useful things to have in this kind of bracket of distances. Suzuka didn't quite make the cut in the junior debut, but that's okay, because not everybody gets everything right first try, do they? If they did, there'd be no such thing as learning. But then again, this career is just a case of putting pedal to the metal. Maybe Suzuka should leave this education and learning thing to the dumb brainy smarties. Clearly the loss hit Suzuka hard here, as for every follow-up race that she was in, she had a commanding lead. Once the stat increases and additional skills started to roll in, no opponent stood a chance. Another helpful benefit is that unlike some trainees, such as King Halo, Suzuka's career's goals actually play around her strongest potential. Just about everything you have to do is either a mile or a medium track, so it was basically just playing it through. Which, yeah, as you'd expect from how I've written the script and whatnot for this part up until this point, we cruised through this one, putting another win under the belt for the career tracks. But that isn't all, of course. There's also the URA Championship to contend with. As I had a few extra turns to play with, I took the time to make sure I had the Guts stat maxed out, in the same way that every other trainee had their chosen stat maxed. Blitzed through the qualifying and the semi-final rounds and... oh, a little unexpected. I suppose, as the old adage goes, if at first you don't succeed, rewind time and pretend that nothing happened as many times as it takes for you to win. Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey.
Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey.
And what do you know? Another URA finale winner, another B+ rank. Booyah. Absolutely nailing this one stat thing.
Pull the lever, Crunk.
Finally, to round things off with wit. This is, if you know, you know. You know? The higher your wit, the better your Musume's positioning, and the more likely they are to use their skills in a race. Training wit also gives you some speed to boot, but they're the only two stats we get, so I need to use them wisely. There's one particular best girl I haven't brought up in this entire video so far, and, well, I think it's her time to shine. And there we have it. Honestly, Bakuchin trivializes the challenge for wit, and I even ended up with an A rank, which is fairly laughable. But hey, 4 out of 5 career wins, with a couple URA finalist winners, all from training just one stat for each of them. I would class this as an overall win, but at the end of the day, I didn't quite win Umamusume Pretty Derby with training one stat for every stat, but damn, it was close. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you again soon.